pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item, Chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Agenda is approved. Item 3, consent agenda. Chair would entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Get to the next one. Item 4, delegations and recognitions. Finance delegations. We have none? Very good. Item 4B, CCC student recognition. I'm guessing that's what you're all here for, right? Okay.
Very excited now. Okay, so this evening I'm fortunate to have a few students and some of their family members here with us this evening to do some student recognition. So at Cash Career Center, we take a twist on the student month. We call it Young Professional of the Month. So students nominated for this award, they are nominated by their instructors, and then typically they're doing things just above and beyond, right? So they're involved in various organizations, they're leaders in their classrooms, they're going out and being student ambassadors, they're representing their student organizations at various activities and things. And we've had a few students from Harrisonville nominated throughout the school year, and so we're going to backtrack and recognize a few of them from previous months, and then a couple just recently were nominated. A little bit about the award: we do designate one of the 2 awards we give out each month, one to a senior and one to an underclassman, and so that can vary the age exactly of who's being nominated. But one student that we had in September was Case Nelson. Yes, Case, come on in. Case, would you like to tell them a little bit about what you do at CCC?
Yeah. So I'm in all the agricultural classes. I'm active in FFA. I was a September student of the month. I'm active in FFA through career development events, which is like dairy judging and livestock judging, ag sales. And then this year I also started leadership development events, which is like speaking and interviews and stuff. So it's basically about all I do at the CCC.
That's all. It's really fortunate that we can have 3 out of the 4 I was going to recognize tonight. They're very busy individuals, and so getting them here is kind of an accomplishment, I think. For November, we had Josie Moore. Josie, share a little bit about yourself.
Hello, so I'm a senior at Harrisonville High School, and I'm an FFA. I'm an officer for the chapter as well as an area officer. I also do speeches for the chapter and then horse judging. I'm also in the marketing program, and I'm an active DECA member and about to go participate in DECA districts here in a couple weeks. And so that's what I do at the CCC.
Okay, and then for the month of December, we had 2 Harrisonville students that were awarded this recognition. We had Mackenzie Meeks, who's part of our health services program at CCC, and then we also had Summer Wagner.
So I'm Summer Wagner. I'm a senior at Harrisonville this year, and I'm very active in FFA. I do a lot of the CDE developments, and I have started the leadership a little bit too. I also am taking a marketing course this year.
Thank you all very much. If you want to leave, you can. We'd love for you to stay, but again, we know your schedules are busy. By all means, you probably better go to that thing.
Good job, guys.
Good job.
I will.
All right, item 4C, partner organization, Harrisonville PTO.
Hey, I just made some copies of what I was going to talk about for you guys. So we added 2 new officers this year. We have Amy Bowman, who is our secretary, and Jennifer Spangler, our new treasurer. I just kind of wanted to talk over just real quick just what we've been doing so far. So we already had a trash bag sale. They did increase the prices on us at Frontier Bags, so we had to raise the prices to $12 a roll. It was a lot more complicated when you were counting the money than $10 a roll. But it didn't really affect our sales that much. So we sold approximately $72,500 worth of trash bags. After we settled up with Frontier, our profit was about $32,000. So our green bags, specifically 50 cents of each roll of those that are sold goes to playground funds. So we ended up dividing that by 3 and donated $160 to ECC, HES, and McEwen to specifically be used for their playgrounds, but whatever they wanted to use it for, just like upkeep. I wanted to point out that trash bags are for sale all year round at HES and McEwen. Just go in the office and the nice ladies, the receptionists in there, they take money, they hold it for us, they'll grab you whatever bags you want. Sometimes we run low on yellow bags, but green bags are the same size. So that's just something to remember. And then as far as our budget goes, it remained the same from last year. We did have quite a bit of a carryover, so that helped us do some extra things this year. So every year we have money that are allotted to librarians, field day, PE, music, counselors, nursing staff, and then special events. We recently split a storage shed with Kiwanis Club. I think Kiwanis Club might have put a little more towards it than we did. But we got that for ECC. And then we are going to, again, get all the elementary school students yearbooks. So that way, nobody has to pay for a yearbook, everybody gets one. And that's something that we want to keep doing, but it's contingent on a successful sale because it's not, I mean, it's pretty expensive. Like, they raised the yearbooks to $11 a piece this year. So that's a big chunk of money. So as of now, we are posed to donate a total of $36,400 to ECC, HES, and McEwen for these different events and specialist teachers. The only thing we have upcoming is we have ice cream socials at all 3 schools. We haven't done this in probably like 4 years because of COVID. So this is the first year that I guess everybody's a go for it. We don't have dates yet, but in the past they've paired it up with art fairs at the different schools. So they'll do an art fair and ice cream social together. We have teacher luncheon, and that'll be during Teacher Appreciation Week, whenever they tell us. And then we have a meeting February 23rd, 6:30 at HES. And just be nice if, more people we can get there, because we are going to need some new officers for next year. So if you guys know anybody that you think would be interested in PTO or good, like a good person likes to volunteer, you guys can send in our direction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 4D, Board of Education candidate filing update.
No, it's fine. So, we have the information shared with you, but I want to introduce Ashley Franklin's here tonight. She's one of the candidates who filed for board position. So, just in case you hadn't met Ashley, she's.
How are you guys?
Good. Welcome.
Thanks for showing.
Okay. Item 4E, MSBA delegate report.
It's my turn. Well, the delegate report is just of what 2022 was in review. So tonight I'm going to talk to you about what's going to legislation tomorrow. So as the board meets together, there's different processes, and tomorrow there's this wonderful diagram, but tomorrow we're just going to hear about some of the bills. So the two bills, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about two of the bills. So the two bills that we're listening about, we're not actually voting. It's not becoming a law yet. There's a very long process to these becoming a law. So bills take a long, long time. The very first thing that's happening is we're listening to what they want to revise. And the two of them is SB 4 and SB 89. So SB 4, I'm just going to tell you some of the things that it's listing out. So we're just hearing about them and some revisions that they want to make. The first part is on accountability portal in the state of Missouri, making sure that we're including all forms of compensation and benefits paid to or on behalf of the public employees, including employees of political subdivisions, bond issues by any public school district and charter schools, and requires public schools to supply all such information to be made accessible on the portal to the Office of Administration with a certain number of days and in a manner to be determined. So the accountability portal is one thing. They're going to be looking at the curriculum, just in the fact that we as boards and all charter school boards, that we are approving or adopting the curriculum at least 2 months prior before implementing. That's a bill that they're discussing and listening to. They're going to be looking at the Parents' Bill of Rights Acts tomorrow as well. It's pretty much the same, but just that we are not withholding what our children are learning in our school districts, so that all parents have the ability to look at the curriculum that is being offered to our students. Not withholding, no questions whatsoever. They can just, here you go, you may look at it. So they're looking at that. With the state Missouri Education Transparency and Accountability Portal. So that is to provide all citizens, not just people in your district, not just the families in your district. It's providing all citizens access to the school district's curriculum, textbooks, syllabi provided in that act. They're going to be discussing the concept and beliefs in public schools, just making sure that employees and teachers are not implementing their own beliefs on their students and so forth. So they're going to be looking at some of that. And then one area which I think is really neat they're going to be looking at is the Patriotic and Civics Training Program. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education shall develop a patriotic and civics training program to prepare teachers to teach the principles of the American civics and patriotism. Subject to appropriation for each teacher that completes the training. There may be a bonus. That's what they're going into with the bill. So that's SB 4. It's a lot. If you have any questions, you can contact me, email me. I will try to answer whatever I can. And then SB 89, it's not much different. There's just two things really though they're focusing on. And that is, again, Missouri Education Transparency and Accountability Portal. And this will again be an internet-based tool, creating transparency in Missouri public school education. And then going over the Parents' Bill of Rights Acts again as well. So this is a lot shorter of a bill, obviously, compared to this bill. So, but they're just hearing it. They're just talking about it. It's not being voted on. It's not a law yet. So that is the very first hearings tomorrow, January 18th. So they'll start discussing these things tomorrow.
And for those that are out there, you probably can't see this, but we were talking about the show years ago. Schoolhouse Rock. That's what this all kind of made us think about.
Some of you are too young to even know what we're talking about.
So I'm guessing this is probably on the Missouri School Board's website.
Yeah.
It is. It is on the MSBA. Yeah.
I know it is. Yeah. I'll try to get it on the public view. It's not working in here.
It's a good thing of information to have to know where stuff, because sometimes they're thinking we're voting on stuff, but we're not. Or we still think they're in discussions and they move to vote. So to be able to have that information at your hands probably is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, item 5A, monthly information items. Any questions from the board?
Yes. I had a question about the
math, the Algebra 2 standards. Can you tell me how many students that involves? Because I wasn't real clear. Looking at the graph, I can't really tell. It just shows a percentage, you know.
On the graph part,
Yeah.
there was 4 tabs on it. The first tab, there was an English 2 tab, a government tab, and an Algebra 2 tab with the raw data. And that, I think that had the number of students on it.
Oh, well, I didn't.
There's an Excel spreadsheet.
I
And
saw
then
the
the
Excel
fourth
thing, but I
one.
didn't see algebra listed on there. I just saw biology, I think it was.
Okay, there's 4 tabs.
Maybe that's why.
No,
Okay.
you're fine. I can try it. I had a feeling, however, that was going to come through.
This graph is, I don't know.
Yeah, Algebra 2 is the second tab on there if you open
Okay.
that.
Okay,
So that'll have the list. That'll have the number of students, and then based on that,
I'll figure it out.
you're gonna, if I can,
Thank you.
I can help you too. If you need-
No, I need a tutorial in Excel.
I
I'm
have,
happy to show you.
I have a question
Yeah.
for you on the Algebra 2.
Sure.
So one thing that I was a little confused about was, what are we comparing? I see I just can't tell. What's this? I see the 63% that exceeds mastery and 37% is below. And then the other side, we have
That was confusing to me.
we have the 22%, then there's that small that have mastered, the 19% that have almost, and then the 49% that is not mastered. So what
you
are,
okay if I take a look over your-
no, sure.
Scholastic
I'm like, what are we,
report.
what are we,
Scholastic report.
Okay, so this was the standards, the actual standards that were being assessed on that
okay,
test. So I gave you guys, the spreadsheet was
I saw
broken
the
down student
spreadsheet.
by student.
okay,
And this was to give you an idea of how they scored on the standards.
okay,
So this was, based on that, once again, the 63% was how many of them did.
okay,
Yeah,
so
well,
I guess my question is, this one is, I guess, one test and this is another test?
This is the same test, that unit.
Okay,
They're not just testing one standard
okay,
on a unit test. So there were 2 standards specifically for that unit in Algebra 2 that they were looking at.
so my question is then, do we have a plan to help our students that are at basic and below basic in Algebra 2?
And I will tell you, one of our weaknesses, I would tell you as a building, is we don't have a good RTI system set up for kids. We're getting
Wait,
better.
what's RTI?
Sorry, tell me to speak non-education speaking.
Okay, I will.
Response to intervention.
Okay.
So I know earlier in the year we went to the response intervention at Arkansas. We went to a conference that Mike Mattos, sorry, I won't name drop education people too. Sorry, but and I just said PLC.
We know what that is. We know what that one is.
You can do it.
So we went to the PLC conference, and a big part of that was us reflecting that we don't have a lot in place for response to intervention. So when we've got a kid, basically right now it's being put on the classroom teacher. And we recognize that's an area that we're struggling. And we've got a team. We put the team together. We've met probably 4 or 5 times, and we've just kind of gone through each of the tiers of intervention. So right now, I would say our biggest weakness as a building is that tier 2. So kids don't know what are we doing in response. And it's going to take some time for us to build in. And with some things that we're looking at, I'm confident with some of the work that team is doing and some of the conversations that we're having, that we're going to be able to put together some time, because I think there's a lot of pieces that research show that you need to have in place or not have in place, and right now we don't have a lot of it, so we're trying to get there. But yes, I would agree with you. It's when you hear that, or when you see, hey, we got 37% of kids not meeting this standard, and basically it's up to the teacher. We got to find time, I think, in our schedule to be able to have that for kids.
And I did have a question about the biology.
Mhm.
I don't know. Is it a concern that 37% of them are below basic or at basic and below? Is it a concern?
I would tell you if we scored 67%, 63%.
63% are
Yeah,
at
if we
your
scored at that, if we scored
above.
proficient or above,
or
we
7%?
would be well above state average right
Okay.
now. I think right now, I want to say this past year we were in the 50s on that, which was across the board, which was above state average. So yes, I think anytime that percentage is anything above 0,
Okay.
realistically that's a concern if you've got kids that aren't getting it. But as far as like sound the alarms, oh my goodness, I would say that if we scored that on the EOC,
Okay.
I would be happy with that, just based on what the state average is. That would actually be well above state average. So we'll see if that holds up.
Yeah, you have to norm reference it a little bit too, because you're kind of combining what Mark's talking about, and he's right, is you look at the standard and you're trying to meet the standard, but you also have to see how the rest of the state does in comparison, because sometimes we create standards that are unattainable. And so
Right.
making sure that it's kind of a checks and balances system.
And I would tell you, the other tough part, Edgenuity, which has been a really helpful data tool for me as a principal to be able to look at. I mean, it'll have a cut score. The cut scores on the EOC change every year as well. So what is proficient this year
Will be different next
may be
year.
basic next year, or
Okay.
what was basic this year could be proficient next year. So, I mean, you're chasing a moving target, but we do the best we can.
Well, thank you for giving us some percentages and graphs to look at. Appreciate
I
that.
will try not to confuse you.
Thanks, sir. Item 5B. What's great today? The weather's nice.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
Yeah, there's
Really? Really?
I was looking at you, wasn't
So what's great today? The 3 things I'm going to share today. First is the Royal Roast. The Royal Roast is our coffee shop at the high school that serves our high school kids before the start of school every day, and it's our Life Careers, run by our Life Careers kids. Well, it went on the road. It had a pop-up store at HES back last week. Was it last week? Yes. And they did it before school for the staff there, and the staff could come by, iced drinks. They didn't do any of their hot drinks, but they did iced drinks and pastries, and it was a huge hit. Line way down the hall. And even the HES staff kids really enjoyed it as well. So they took their show on the road, and the kids, the high school kids had a great experience. The teachers and their paras were there with them, and then the HES staff got to have a little treat that morning, and they are planning to come back next month. So the pop-up on the road, the fun thing about that too was they used the Wildcat Band that the foundation purchased to take the kids over there. So it was on the road too. So, and a bonus for you all, we're hosting the first Friday Coffee for the Chamber on February 3rd at the high school, and the pop-up will be there. So bring your debit cards, because they take debit cards, and get yourself a nice drink from the World Roast pop-up shop. So that's the first one. The second one was our CCC staff just going way above and beyond. And some are having a little too much fun putting the pie in Dr. Hickman's face there. But
We talked through that before.
Yeah.
We had a good plan that I'd stand still and I wouldn't get hurt.
Yes. It was fun. I got to go to the afternoon of pieing. But why they did this is because their Skills USA did a fundraiser for their holiday adoptive family for Bright Futures, and they had jars out with teachers' faces on it. All the teachers got to choose, or the staff got to choose whether they were on those or not. The idea was a coin war, and whoever got the most coins or most money would get a pie in the face. Well, if they hit a limit maximum, they would all get pies. And they did it.
Of course.
They all got pies. So the day after Christmas break, there was a pieing in the morning and a pieing in the afternoon. And they took pies to the face. And I'm going to recommend that if any other schools do pies to the face, you need to go get their hazmat suits that they have. Those are great. You couldn't even see Officer Kelly because she had a mask and glasses. Yeah, you couldn't see her. But good sports, and the kids loved it. And some of the kids got pie on them because maybe some teachers dodged out of the way at the last minute. So that's super great. Good relationship building there for the kids to see the staff enjoying that. And the staff really enjoyed seeing each other. Because I do want to point out how excited Dr. Hickman is when Mr. Street is getting his pie in his face right there. She's very excited.
I know. If you know him, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Is that Mr. Strike?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he dodged the first one. So
He
this
did.
is the afternoon, and we had a whole plan about round one versus round two, I probably would make sure he got
Yeah.
he got it.
So
I was very excited.
it was good. And then the third thing is before second semester started today, last week, middle school had their Career Explode Classes career fair. So this is our first kind of jump into real world learning, where 8th graders can take career explorations at the middle school. And so they all semester they've been studying and working on a career field, and they presented their long-term goals, their short-term goals. They had a portfolio, they had a presentation board, they invited people in. It was really great, really, really great. The first girl I walked up to blew me out of the water. I mean, she shook my hand, looked me in the eye, and she wants to be a preschool administrator. So she's coming for your job. She was great. And you're like, yeah. But the boy in the picture talking to Grantham wants to be Mr. Grantham.
That's scary.
Yeah, I know. So are you sure? So they just did a fantastic job. What'd you say?
That was Cameron one time.
They started this class by taking an aptitude test called U-Science. Well, it's not a test, it's a series of online testing, which I started to take the other day, and I quit because they started talking about spatial reasoning, and I just got mad about it. So that's not me. So I'm still going to finish the test to find out what I'm supposed to be. But they started by taking this test to find out where their career lies, and then they did research onto that. And so they just did a great job. And so I wanted to share that and that from our first kind of dip into real world learning there at the middle school.
So that's new, the class was new last year, but they didn't do the presentation
No,
last year.
this is the first year.
This is the first year.
First year, right? First semester for us.
You
Yes.
want to go up there and talk?
I don't know if you want to come up here.
I just was curious about
He
that.
loves to talk.
I know it is relatively new.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, last year we did it the first year with Coach Cavill, and it was what it was. He did a good job getting it started, but we brought Miss Deering from the high school. She took it to another level.
Gotcha.
So now we're doing presentations, and we're working directly with the CCC. I think one of the problems that we may have in a few years, we may have, I don't know if you want, talking, all want to go to the CCC, so I don't know, we're going to put all those 80 kids coming into it, but they've done a really good job with that, and Ms. Deering's done a great job with it as well. So.
I think it's great.
I think there might be a fourth thing, Joby, back here.
Oh, I know. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Add some color.
Very good. Thank you.
Item 5C, donation acknowledgement.
Sorry, I'm having trouble seeing. The eye surgery is not making my eyes work very well. So per board policy, the administration would like to report to the Board of Education the receipt of $1,000 from Stafford and Stafford Insurance for the soccer program. We're very grateful for the donation from Stafford and Stafford. They're a very big supporter of our school, and we greatly appreciate their donation.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Item 6A, assessment evaluation of district programs. Deb, you're up.
December puts us halfway through our fiscal year. Overall, the revenues for the fiscal year at about 36% of budget, which changed today. We got $12 million in for our county taxes, so yay. And then overall expenditures for the fiscal year at about 51%, so right on target there. Nothing out of the ordinary compared to last year other than capital projects, and that's just our bond proceeds, which that is getting very close to being complete. Let's see, after the pay apps today that you approved today, I'd say we're probably less than $500,000 maybe. Yeah, we're getting close. Ending projected fund balance percentage is at 23% versus 22% from last year. Overall cash and investments are at $12.3 million, with $1.2 million of that is bond proceeds.
Good. Questions for Deb? Very good. Item 6A, strategic plan update.
So we submitted the strategic plan in December to DESE. We are in cohort 1, just a reminder, and they are supposed to be starting to score those for MSIP 6 for the Missouri School Improvement Program Cycle 6. That's kind of the first step, and they'll give us some feedback on that. That's part of our overall the health evaluation of our district. So that's new this year and new this cycle. So we're excited to see where that goes. And we are starting the process. I know Jason has been engaged with the building principals to talk about facility plans. So at the conclusion of the bond projects, that's kind of where do we go next. And so the first step was to meet with the building leaders and talk about their wish list. Then at that point, we need to start talking about architect plans, and that's kind of where we're at in that phase. So the last time this was addressed was 2016. So just let's keep that on your radar. That's probably the next part of that process. So yeah, that's fine.
Very good. Okay, item 6C, revisions to board policy. This is an action item. Chair will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the revisions to board policy I-140P as presented.
Second.
Is that a roll call or just a voice vote? Just a voice vote. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Completed. And it looks like we are ready for an adjournment. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn or just stay here all night?
Please no.
I'm cool.
I move to adjourn the regular meeting at 7:32.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Please no.